Hello everyone, a very good day to all of you. We will start the session in a minute. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar on meeting compliance reporting obligations. My name is Komal Mishra. I take care of Oracle service sales at Path Infotech. I will be moderating the webinar today. Ashish, can you move to next slide? So before we get started, I have few housekeeping rules. Your lines will remain muted during this session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your control panel. If you are logged through your mobile devices, there will be question sign on your screens. You can click on it and type in your question box. The Q&A round will be at the end of this session and we will address your questions at that time. The session is being recorded and the link will be shared with you via email post the webinar. We also have a special offer for all our participants. We will be talking about it later in the session. Ashish, can you move to next slide? We have with us three wonderful speakers for this session today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Vikrant Dutt, Director, Customer Success Services, Oracle; Mr. Kapil, Principal Solutions Architect, MySQL HeatWave; Mr. Ashish Goyal, Assistant Vice President, Fusion Practice at Path Infotech. Thank you all for being part of our session today. Great to have you here with us. Now, without further delay, I will request Ashish to take the lead from here. Ashish, over to you.
Thank you, Komal. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar. I'm going to talk about the current problem which various organizations are facing in terms of reporting for those customers who has already sunset Oracle e-business suite applications or continue on Oracle e-business suite applications. Organizations across the globe are facing challenge when they take a conscious decision to move from Oracle ERP to any of the modernized application. Also, those customers who continue on Oracle e-business suite application and when they try to execute the resource heavier report, especially during the month and year end, it slows down entire application. Also, its impact on day-to-day transaction as well as on the critical reporting like customer facing document, supplier facing document, auto invoices, material costing, and few other processes also. These are the certain regulatory compliances like when the customer are sunsetting any ERP application, they need to maintain the transactional data for a specified duration as per as the regulatory norms are there. Also, during the migration to any modernized application, only the open transactions are migrated to modernized application and the closed transactions is maintained in Oracle e-business suite application. Also on the auditor's request for the past data during the audit process, and it become necessary for maintaining the old Oracle EBS environment. Also on the cost of ownership and the performance point of view, maintaining the sunset Oracle EBS application, huge amount of cost is incurred in terms of license and in terms of hardware. The same needs to be maintained till the time regulatory compliances are valid. Also, there could be scenario where the hardware become obsolete. So there may be a requirement to procure a new hardware. And skilled resources on the older EBIS releases and technologies are hard to find out resources on these technologies. In every organization, there is a few user groups who do not perform any transactions in the system, but would just need to take out the report for management reporting and any other compliance reporting. These would not need to access Oracle EBS application. And I've already discussed some of the key reports are resource extensive, and usually when they run on the business time, it will impact on overall system performance. Last but not the least, operational and cross-functional reported challenges like every organizations have multiple applications which are tightly integrated with Oracle e-business suite application. Then they would like to have a consolidated reporting of data from both the Oracle e-business suite application and the business application. Also, the organizations require the comparative reporting like profit and loss report, month-on-month basis, quarter-on-quarter basis, year-on-year basis, as well as the trend analysis report like sales analysis, revenue analysis, inventory analysis, these kind of reports. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Vikrant from Oracle India Customer Success Team to share his views on this problem statement.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, and good morning and welcome in the webinar. I represent the customer success services of Oracle, and I drive the partner success, and hence we are very closely working with Path, especially for this MCA guideline. It's actually a combination of unified auditing, Golden Gate, and audit vault. So it is definitely required to choose the right partner who can actually deliver this and make this particular exercise successful at your side. So there are support from Oracle side, which we will be backing up our partners from the partner success standpoint, because our end objective is to make this particular exercise successful at client end. So over to you.
Thank you, Vikrant, for sharing insight on this. Komal, can you please run a poll?
Yeah. There is a poll on your screens. Please take a moment to answer the question. Thank you so much, everyone. Ashish, you may proceed.
Thank you, Komal. Considering the above problem statement, Path has come out with a reporting solution and called Anywhere on top of MySQL. In Anywhere, the approach we have taken, we have identified key database objects like tables, views across the financial supply chain and manufacturing modules. And the customer who sunset Oracle e-business suite application or plan to sunset Oracle e-business suite application will replicate one-time data from Oracle e-business suite application to MySQL application. Using the replication tool, either the Golden Gate or we have a customizer script is available to synchronize the data from Oracle e-business suite application to MySQL. And for those customers who continue on Oracle e-business suite application and no immediate plan to migrate to any of the modernized application, one-time data will be replicated from Oracle e-business suite application to MySQL, and on a predefined schedule, incremental data will be replicated to MySQL database. Okay. Once the data is replicated to MySQL database, various kind of business report can be generated on this platform itself. Also, whatever the security you have configured in Oracle e-business suite application, like suppose there is a X user is having a rights of vision operations, he or she able to generate a trial balance report for vision operation entity. The same set of security we have built in an Anywhere solution. And these are the key features of Anywhere solution that's include in let's say compliance reporting. Compliance reporting means SOX compliance report and GSTR reports and the TDS reports. And operational report, we have around 20 plus pre-built report is available in Anywhere solutions like general ledger, trial balance, ledger reports, customer facing document, supplier facing document, day book report, and register reports, which is required for compliance perspective. Register reports like sales register, invoice register, inventory register, GRN register, these and many reports are available. Uh, we also generate the comparative and the trade analysis report from the multiple business area, multiple application, which is one of the key challenge as we have discussed earlier. Also, we enable heatwave services to enhance the performance of the report. We are going to talk about in detail in the subsequent slide. This is a very simple solution architect diagram. If you see in the left-hand side, there is a source application. As of now, it's only Oracle e-business suite application, and this box is the MySQL. As I already mentioned, the data will transfer from Oracle e-business suite application to MySQL using the data replication tool, or we have a customized script available to synchronize the data one time or incremental data. Once the data is there in MySQL reporting, data storage, now the various kind of presentation layer is available to generate compliance report and the operational report. Presentation layer means we have a Apex, Power BI, and our reporting solution. We call it as a reporting anywhere solution. And compliance reporting, there is a multiple kind of reports you can generate. And similarly on the operational report, we have a 20 plus operational reports are there. Also, as I already mentioned, the organization has Oracle e-business suite applications and some other business application. Those business application data also replicated to MySQL for generating cross-functional reporting or cross-application reporting. That is also possible in our Anywhere solution. Now I would like to let's show demo on Anywhere. Just this is the Anywhere platform to cater the multiple business requirements like vendor portal, customer portal. We have a MDM solutions, data migration, reporting solutions. Today I'm going to talk about on reporting solutions. And for demo purpose, we have extracted all the vision, operation, legal entity data from Oracle e-business suite application to MySQL. And this reporting solution is developed in no-code, low-code platform. Let me log in. Once I click on the login, actually it asks me the username and password. I'm logging from the admin users. And this is the landing page of the application. So if you see in the left hand side, there is a various type of report containers is available like compliance and the operational report. Once I click on the operational reports, there is a multiple subject area like GL ledger, general ledger, account payable, account receivables, fixed asset, purchasing and inventory. When I click on the general ledger, there is a couple of reports in each subject area is there. In the general ledger, we have a trial balance, profit and loss report, day book report, comparative reports. Similarly, on accounts payable, we have various kind of reports available, and the receivables also we have. Now, let me click on the trial balance report. Once I click on the trial balance report, it open up window, filter criteria window. Let me choose the ledger is Vision USA and the period is November 09. Now you can generate this trial balance report on YTD or PTD or QTD. Let me select YTD and just click on the search button. So data will be displayed. It's having a natural account. What is my opening balances? What is my closing balance and the period activity? Suppose you want to download this data, and this Oracle Apex supports various CSV, HTML, Excel and the PDF, you can download the data in any of the formats. Let me click on the Excel and download it. Once I click on the downloaded, it will download into my download folder and you can open it. Yeah, it's nicely formatted. Whatever the data in the screen, it directly exported into the Excel. Okay, I am going to also it's having a if you want to send this data to any of your subordinate or team members, just you need to provide the email information and then press send button. It automatically sends this report output to the various business users. Okay, similar kind of reports is available on Daybook. Let me click on the Daybook. On the click of Daybook, it asks me the parameters. Let me choose business operation and the from date to date. Once I click on the search button, it will give me what is source wise, category wise, journal day wise, chart of account information, what is my debit balance and what is my credit balance. And on top of that, actually, if you want to create a pivot on these data, you can create a pivot. Let me create. I want to create a pivot based on source, based on the category. Okay, function is some column is and click on the apply button. It show me data source wise, category wise, what is my closing balance. Same way, if you want to generate graph on these data, that is also very much possible in the single click. And it allows me to create a bar chart, line chart, pie chart, various kind of graphs is available. Let me click on the source wise, the sum. Let me click. It gives me the bar chart data. If you want to change from bar chart to pie chart on a single click, this is available. Okay. The next thing is competitive trial balance report. Similar kind of report is on the I choose the vision operation and for which financial year I want to generate. Let's I choose for 2009. Once I click on this, it gives me natural account wise what is my January balances, what is my period balances for starting from January to December period. And same way you can download this data into the multiple formats. Similarly, other kind of report is available in anywhere platform. There's the invoice register, check register, the aging report. Whatever the reports is required for the compliances and operational perspective, those reports are already configured in this compliance reporting. Apart from this operational, we have a compliance reporting, like as I already mentioned, GSTR1 and GSTR2 is there. Let me go through it. Okay. The only thing we need to choose a period for which period I want to generate the GSTR1 and GSTR2 report. Let me choose the GSTR1. When I click on the search button, it will give me the GSTR1 report output. Whatever the information is required, that is already pre-configured in this report. Similarly, on the GSTR2, based on the period, it will show me the GSTR2 returns. Okay. Now I would like to invite Mr. Kapil from Oracle MySQL team to provide some insight on this MySQL and the heat wave. Kapil.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Ashish, for a very good demo. So the next technology which we are talking about here is MySQL HeatWave. This is the latest innovation which has come from Oracle side. So as Ashish already explained, there might be some customers who will be moving the data from Oracle eBiz to MySQL for reporting purposes, or there might be some organizations who will be sunsetting their EBIS and permanently doing a one-time copy of their data into MySQL for purely for reporting and analytics. So I believe everybody would have heard of these terminologies, OLTP and OLAP applications. So what happens in a typical environment, a database environment, is we have one OLTP application which is pumping data into our OLTP database, which is MySQL in our case. So what Ashish has just explained is that we will move the data first to the MySQL database, and in case somebody has to do some reporting and analytics, someone has to run complex queries, they need to ETL this data, extract this data out of OLTP and push it into an OLAP database, which is used for our reporting analytics or data warehousing. So what we need to do is we need to maintain and manage two separate databases at any given point of time. And between two databases, which is OLTP and OLAP, we have to write ETL services which need to extract data from OLTP and push it into OLAP at regular intervals. Second thing is we need to design our OLAP database, which means we need to define our database objects, we need to define the partitions and how the data will be stored within the data warehousing or OLAP database. So we have to manage and maintain two separate databases at any given point of time. Next slide, please. So in order to resolve this issue of managing two separate databases, we have come up with a new innovative technology which is called HeatWave. So what happens is your application, your OLTP application will continue to push data into your OLTP database, which in our case is MySQL database. Moment the data lands on the MySQL database, a copy of that data will be automatically created on the HeatWave. So this HeatWave is nothing but a in-memory database cluster which is attached to my MySQL engine. So this is just a combination of memory and processing power. There is no storage which is attached to my HeatWave, which means all the data in the HeatWave will always remain in the memory. So as I said earlier, moment my data is landing on my OLTP system, which is MySQL database, a copy of that data without writing any ETL job will be moved to my HeatWave cluster. A copy of that data will be automatically created on the HeatWave cluster, and this data can be accessed by the application in real time. Also, because the entire data set is always residing in memory, there is no need of any storage space, no IOPS, which is involved when accessing data from HeatWave. Next slide, please. So what we have done is that we have tuned our optimizer in such a way that now we have one single OLTP application, which is sending the queries to my database. At runtime, I'll find out the cost of firing that query. If the cost is less on the OLTP side, it will fire the query from the MySQL database. If it sees that there are certain reports which are running slow, or there are certain summation or aggregate functions or data warehousing functions which are involved in the query, which is making that query run slow, it will automatically push that query to my HeatWave cluster. So this is all transparent to the application, transparent to the end user. My end user will only have one single interface from where they are firing the query. They don't need to modify their application, no change in any code required on the application side. They will continue to fire queries from the application, and depending upon the cost of the query will automatically be either routed to my OLTP MySQL database, or it will automatically be routed to my in-memory cluster, which is called HeatWave. So this will drastically increase the performance of my slow running reports or queries. So if there are any OLTP queries also which are running slow on my database, even those queries will automatically be pushed to my heat wave cluster. So that is all dependent upon the cost of running that query, and there is no manual intervention required in moving the query from my OLTP system to my heat wave cluster. Next slide, please. So this is how a typical environment may look like. You might be having several OLTP applications, which might be social media or financial applications. As Ashish pointed out, that we are talking about moving data from eBay's applications. So all this data will be pushed first into my OLTP system. Once the data is in my OLTP system, which is my MySQL database, a copy of that data, as I said earlier, will be automatically copied to my OLAP system, which is my heatwave cluster. And if I have my BI and visualization tools like Oracle Analytics Cloud, Power BI, Tableau, Click, if these tools are already used by an organization, these tools will remain unchanged. There is no need to modify any queries or visualizations which are already written, and they can directly access data from my heatwave cluster. So if any data warehousing queries or any reporting and analytic queries customers have already written, and they are feeling that they are running slow on a OLTP system, those queries will automatically be rerouted onto my heatwave cluster. So this will provide a tremendous jump in performance of all the queries. Even the OLTP queries which are running slow on the OLTP system, they will also run much faster when they will run on the heatwave cluster, because as I said earlier, it is purely a in-memory system. Next slide, please. So how are we deriving all this intelligence in heatwave? As I said earlier, there is no need to make any changes on the application side. Queries will automatically be rerouted to my heatwave in case cost is high on the OLTP side. Secondly, you don't need to design this OLAP database. You don't need to do any designing on the heatwave side. There is no need to design any separate data warehouse. So question is, how is heatwave deriving all this intelligence from? It is deriving all this intelligence from MySQL autopilot. So this MySQL autopilot is nothing but supervised machine learning, which is already inbuilt into my heatwave engine. So I already have the supervised machine learning inbuilt into my heatwave engine, which is taking care of all this needs of not designing any data warehouse or rerouting these queries from my OLTP system. So moment you mount this heatwave cluster and attach it with my OLTP system, which is my MySQL database, you have the facility to predict the number of nodes which are required for an heatwave cluster. So starting from auto shape prediction to schema inference, data sampling, auto provisioning of all the nodes. So depending upon how much data you are going to push into heatwave and what are the type of queries which you need to run on the heatwave system, it will automatically provision the number of nodes for you, which will form the part of your system setup. Once your heatwave nodes are provisioned, you need to load the data. So you don't need to design, as I said earlier, there is no need of designing any database objects in the heatwave cluster. It will automatically create the database objects on its own. It will automatically create optimum partitions within that database, and it will optimally load the data within the heatwave cluster. There is no manual intervention required to design any data warehouse or to load the data into heatwave cluster. Once the data is there in the heatwave cluster, it will automatically keep on tuning the query execution plans, which means if you keep on running the same query again and again, more number of times in the heatwave engine, it will automatically keep on optimizing the query execution plan. So you will feel that if you are running the same query again and again, that query execution time will go on reducing. It will automatically keep on optimizing the query execution plan. And in case of a node failure, it will provide an automatic recovery of the failed node. So all this intelligence, it is deriving from the inbuilt machine supervised machine learning engine, which is the backbone of my heat wave engine. Next slide, please. So heat wave engine, we can provision, we can start with one node. So each of my node is having 16 CPUs and 512 GB of memory. So each node, which means each node can hold up to 512 GB of data in a heat wave cluster. So we can start minimum with one node and we can scale up to 512 nodes, which means in a typical heat wave environment, when you are spinning up heat wave clusters along with your OITP system, we can hold up to around 400 terabytes of data. So this 400 terabytes of data can all sit in the memory and can run and can make the processing of reports and queries much faster. So typical spinning of time for a heat wave node is around 12 to 14 minutes. And if you are jumping from 1 to 512 nodes, we can spin up these nodes within 18 to 20 minutes. And if you look at the graph, you will see that as we go on increasing the number of nodes in the heat wave cluster, my performance execution of queries remains the same. My scalability and performance is not going down when I am scaling my cluster from one node up to 512 nodes, which means it is highly scalable. You can add more and more number of nodes without bringing down the database. Your database is up and running at all times, and you will get a uniform performance when you will move from one nodes to 512 nodes. Next slide, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kapil, for providing insight on MySQL and Heatwave. Yeah, there is another poll. Komal, can you please run this poll?
We have another poll on your screens right now. Please submit your answers. Thank you so much, everyone. Ashish, please go ahead.
Thank you, Komal. Till now, we have talked about use cases and our solution approach, how we can leverage MySQL and Heatwave on the reporting requirement. Some of the key benefits of the anywhere, the reporting solutions. We have a scalable solution. There is a very highly scalable solution. You can build n number of additional reports. And as discussed earlier, various kind of report can be generated on like compliance report, operation report, the cross-functional report can be generated in this platform. Another important benefit is anywhere is easy to deploy, easy to use, and easy to maintain the solution. However, it also supports multiple presentation layers. You can build your report on either on the Apex or Anywhere solution or the Power BI. Last but not least is it is a cost and time effective solution as additional report can be easily developed with a minimum effort and the cost. Kapil, would you like to add anything on that?
And when we are talking about compliance reporting or sunsetting, we always talk about making the reports much faster. Their execution time should also reduce in case of complex running reports. And for that purpose, we can always go in for a heat wave cluster, which is attached to my reporting system.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashish, Kapil, and Vikrant for sharing these valuable insight with us. I'm sure our audience would have found it quite interesting and insightful. We are excited to announce a special offer for our audience. We will run a free no obligation POC on any one data element of your choice. This is an exclusive offer for our participants today. To avail this offer, you can contact us at komal.mishra@pathinfotech.com. My mail ID is on your screens right now. Next slide. We will go ahead and take time for questions now. So just reminder to everyone, please be sure to type your questions into the question box in your control panel. It looks like we have questions from the attendees. Thank you for the same. We will try and cover as many questions as we can. Ashish, we have one question from Mr. Rajiv. That is, reporting solution can be deployed on which cloud or on public cloud?
Yeah, Mr. Rajiv, that's reporting anywhere solution can be deployed on either on the OCI, Azure, and AWS, as well as on the public cloud also.
Thank you, Ashish. Ashish, there is one more question is coming from Mr. Naresh. He is asking what technology is required to deploy reporting solution?
Yeah, Mr. Naresh, for this deploy this anywhere solution, actually we will require the cloud instances where we can deploy our application anywhere platform, as well as Apex for the reporting perspective, and the MySQL and HeatWave database and HeatWave is required in case of improve the performance of the report. So these are the technologies required to deploy our anywhere solution.
Ashish, there is another question is coming from Mr. Abhijit. He is asking, how do you ensure all the data replicate from Oracle to MySQL?
In the report, yeah, Kamal, in the reporting solution, we have a reconciliation report. We take a count from Oracle Business Suite application and the MySQL database and compare those things, as well as we run key reports like a trial balance report, like supplier and the customer and inventory reports to reconcile the data between the Oracle Business Suite application and the MySQL.
Okay. Ashish, there is one more question is coming from Mr. Naveen. He is asking, what is implementation time frame to deploy this solution?
Yeah, it will take approximate 2 months till the go live, and in the 2 months of time, we'll deliver 20 reports, pre-built report, as well as the compliance reporting, and we have provisioned for 10 new reports developed based on the customer need.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you all for your queries you shared here. With that, we end this webinar. Thank you everyone for taking the time and joining us today. We appreciate you being here. Hope you found this session interesting and informative. If you have further questions from us, kindly mail me. We will reply to you. My mail address is komal.mishra@pathinfotech.com. We will share the recording of this webinar with all of you very soon. Once again, thank you for joining us. Have a good day to everyone.